Do you have Bitcoin? Do you have Ethereum? Okay, if you answered yes, then you need to watch this video. If you were thinking about buying any of those cryptocurrencies, then you need to watch this video. If you have used Genesis trading or anything that they're affiliated with, Gemini Earn, GBTC, among other things, you need to watch this video. My name is Voskcoin on the Voskcoin YouTube channel. This stuff has a possibility to just send BTC, ETH, and a couple other cryptocurrencies down dramatically, okay, in prices. We're talking about a $2 billion hole. This is a result of the FTX Contagion, Sam Bankman-Fried, massive scammer, right? We're going to break down what's going on. This is new information. This is rapidly developing. If you've seen our previous coverage, that will prep you, but there is new information here. So let's dig into all this. Recently, we covered how this crypto company needs $1 billion, and since then I've gotten a cold and I sound freaking terrible, and I apologize. Well, CoinDesk, who DCG owns, Digital Currency Group, is also reporting on this, which is a little weird and ironic. But we're going to take this, right, and we're going to look at this, and this is double the amount that we've recently heard. Previously a $1 billion hole, right? This crypto company needs $1 billion. Well, apparently they need 1.8 billion now. Okay. Previously reported Gemini Earn customers are owed $900 million. That's basically $1 billion right there. And two other groups of Genesis creditors are being represented by lawyers, totaling $1.8 billion. We're dealing with lawyers. They're interacting with each other. This is a precursor to potential bankruptcy. But let's take a step back. What is DCG? DCG.co, Digital Currency Group. They claim to be the epicenter of Bitcoin and blockchain industry. Accelerate development, financial system, their subsidiaries, whatever. Genesis Trading, Greyscale, CoinDesk, Foundry, Luno, TradeBlock, HQ, the companies that they are the proudest of in their portfolio. Their portfolio is big. It runs deep, from NFT studios to obviously what we just talked about to Etherscan. Right, there's so many different just cryptocurrency companies, startups, eToro exposure. Right, there's a lot going on here. DCG owns a lot of different cryptocurrencies in their portfolio, from Bitcoin, Ethereum Classic, which they have pushed frequently, to other top 100 and beyond cryptocurrencies like the Graph, Basic Attention Token, and something all the way down here at 6,350 ranking, Eco. So not exactly too sure on that one. But point is, there's numerous cryptocurrencies in here that have a pretty high market cap when you total them up. Obviously, they don't own all of these cryptocurrencies, but they do have exposure. Basically, if you are in a cryptocurrency in this list and they need funds, they will be dumping their position potentially to get those funds before going bust. Guess what happens? All these coins get sold, which is the big issue with centralized entities having such a big stake in all these things, right? They can dump a ton of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then Ethereum Classic, I believe, is their third biggest holding. They have a substantial amount of cryptocurrencies in this list. And there are some people knocking on their door saying, dude, where the hell is my money? And rightfully so, like Gemini Earn. So with Gemini Earn, this is what their Earn page shows now. So on November 16th, Genesis, the lending partner of the Earn program, paused withdrawals and messaged that they would not be able to meet the Earn user redemption requests of 5 business days. So then they sent a message to the users. And then in December, Kirkland and Ellis engaged as counsel on behalf of Earn users and other creditors who have joined together to form an ad hoc committee, a creditor committee. Then Julian Loki has been engaged as a financial advisor on behalf of the creditor committee. So this is rapidly developing, like, yo, where are the funds? Okay, and a lot of people are clamming up. Fortunately, for those that are impacted by the BlockFi bankruptcy filing, which is absolutely devastating, which we've talked about many times, and just, you know, I dodged a bullet with Gemini Earn, but I did not dodge the bullet with BlockFi. That may be the kill shot. Painful. But I bring BlockFi up in today's video because as of the petition date, BlockFi Wallet LLC no longer uses third-party custodians. Fireblocks and BitGo provide self-hosted wallet software to their clients. This software allows customers such as BlockFi Wallet to securely manage and retain custody of their private keys and retain full custody of their digital assets. So this is great. This is awesome. This is critical. Also, when you want to know like how deep these things kind of run and are interconnected, when we click back and we look at DCG's portfolio, they also have BitGo. But again, focus, right? This is self-hosted. So even if BitGo goes down, you're still dealing with self-hosted. So basically they're okay in this regard, but it's very scary how all of this is so intertwined and kind of all crumbling down around us in real time. So Messari, and they have a relationship with DCG, Genesis, and everything like that. Just make sure you understand. But so let's kind of review what happens here, right? What happens next? If you saw that ridiculous cryptic tweet. So DCG's estimated balance sheet, Greyscale trade and its role in the undoing of Genesis Capital, GBTC, collateral hedge on Greyscale's ETF approval, various stakeholders, right? And we'll break down what's happening. Genesis Global Trading, DCG Co's full-service prime broker, created the shares of GBTC that several firms, Three Arrows Capital and BlockFi, used in order to capitalize on the premium that existed versus the underlying assets the trusts represented. They traded with disparity, right? Looking to compound on early success, these firms then made the same bets with leverage from Genesis Capital, only to see the Greyscale trade reverse in early 21. These trades left 3AC insolvent, leaving a $1.1 billion hole in Genesis's loan book, which was sent up to DCG. Where does Genesis Capital go from here? Out-of-court settlement and haircut to creditors, including partners such as Gemini, a bankruptcy filing and reorganization process, a refinancing and capital infusion at parent DCG, right? Go broke, credit haircut, recapitalization, creditor financing. But Ryan Selkis, main guy at Messari, took a step back and kind of revised his stance here. So he published this piece based on reasonable assumptions, inferences, and public records around GBTC as a valuable balance asset sheet and collateral at DCG. There's one problem. His inferences pointed to the fact that GBTC was most likely held at DCG, the parent company. It seems equally plausible that much of this collateral is actually held at Genesis and not DCG, which would not be good, he breaks down. A key assumption here is the analysis piece was that 600 to 800 million of crypto collateral at DCG. Most of this is GBTC and ETH, which is basically their Bitcoin holdings and their Ethereum holdings, more or less, to put it simply. That would change everything in their model and suggest that there's a greater risk that Genesis will be forced to sell off millions of GBTC shares per month over the next 2.5 years in order to pay creditors. This would reduce the incentives for DCG to pursue the ETFs. This is still developing, right? Where do we go from here? But the fact is basically, if they can't come up with the funds and repay the people that need it or want it or whatever that are contractually owed these funds, this money, these cryptocurrencies, these bitcoins, these dollars, whatever, then you have unwinding, you have selling, you have dumping. This sends a ton of negative sell pressure into the cryptocurrency market, the sector. This crushes confidence in the sector. This will crush some big businesses that, again, are far-reaching, like we saw with FTX and how that impacted not a full-blown scam like FTX and Alameda was with SBF, yes, but not everyone's betting on their success or, them getting out of this, right? We'll skim through this thread on basically how Hodl Kryptonite thinks that they're going bankrupt. So from Barry's letter himself, DCG in aggregate owes $2 billion, $1.5 billion to Genesis, and $350 million to external creditors. And this is way worse than he thought. A lot of us thought that the whole was $1 billion. That was kind of the initial news and information coming out. But this is looking like $2 billion, right? As a lender and accounting rules, assets, deposits, or liabilities, Genesis is a borrower lender, mostly funded by small amount of equity and deposits. Barry has admitted that DCG owes Genesis over $500 million and $1.1 billion. That means that somehow they owe them almost $1.6 billion. The 1.1 billion was created by Three Arrows Capital's default, which, was basically degen trading that blew up earlier this year. Funny naming right there in conjunction with that. DCG took on the promissory note. Generator creditors have recourse to find DCG for the money, which is why they suddenly need to raise. And so this is the thing, when it's all like kind of mixed in, convoluted like this, and you want to mix your businesses, and you have this one basically bail out and absorb the loss on this one, that's a power play. But it also puts you at risk because now you've intertwined these. You don't have A and B, you just have, C, which is the result of A and B. If that's clear at all, you get what I mean. Because, if you want to use this one to help this one, well, then it's also equally liable, right? They have recourse to find DCG for the money. That's basically where this all kind of, culminates, if I'm using that word right today. It's unlikely they have a lot of cash on hand. They've been buying back stock and investment opportunities. Interesting. The investment opportunities, probably more GBTC, which kept dipping, right? GBTC is basically Bitcoin that has been previously trading at a premium, now trading it at a discount because people don't want it. They want to get out. They want to get away from it. They want a distance because the writing on the wall is that things are bad. The situation is bad. The situation is dire. To sum it up, basically the only real way to monetize the GBTC stake is unwinding GBTC so that everybody gets out. This is apocalyptic scenario for BTC with 633,000K of Bitcoin hitting the market. The only way for sufficient dollars in the systems to bid such a pile is for prices to go low enough. The last BTC will probably clear at 8K with an average selling price of 12K BTC optimistically in the scenario he's breaking down, fetching them $750 million of cash. They also get to keep the ETH and the rest of the other businesses. Regardless of what Barry does, none of this is going to raise $2 billion and repay the hole in Genesis, which means that Genesis will collapse. They're the institutional prime broker of the space. Comparing this with something like BlockFi, right? A lot of the depositors in BlockFi were retail users, average users, small businesses, whereas the depositors in Genesis are institutions, big users, volume users, and it'll have a very big impact very many different ways. The TLDR here, he doesn't think that they can raise enough money to return what's owed and that both of the entities will collapse and go under. We will see, time will tell, but Barry Silbert, who is the founder CEO, right, of DCG, which is the parent of Greyscale, which is where you get the GBTC, Greyscale Bitcoin, everything like that, Genesis Trading, CoinDesk, TradeBlock, Foundry Services, Luna Global, right? He's been silent for a couple weeks, and he was very quiet in the lead up to that. Greyscale has been posting a lot on their Twitter, but it's just not that interesting. I mean, like some proof of reserve stuff. It's just, I really don't understand what they're doing. In case you missed it, CEO of Foundry Services runs the world's largest BTC mining pool. It's almost like they're just trying to act like everything's cool, but the situation is, again, obviously dire. DCG posting a whole lot of nothing over here, and Genesis also posting a whole lot of nothing after their initial statements here. So, to sum it up, talking to my CRO, my chief risk officer here at Voskcoin, yeah, that's gonna be the cutest pup in the world. 10 seconds of tails. We do it every freaking video. We'll never stop. It's very scary. It's very terrifying. A lot of people think they want like everything to fail so we can bottom and then go up and stuff like that. And I'm not huge on these big centralized players, but them absolutely crumbling is going to hurt a lot of people. It's going to hurt a lot of businesses. It's going to hurt a lot of prices, and it's going to push us into a colder, longer cryptocurrency winter.
Winter is coming.
It's a very scary time in cryptocurrency. Make sure you're custodying your own coins. Be cautious, be vigilant. Understand that basically, in my opinion, nothing is really all that safe right now. If you're not going to custody your own coins, drop referral links like everyone else is right now to buy a Ledger or buy a Trezor down in the video description below. But if you're not going to custody your own coins, and at a minimum, right, you're not going to use a hot wallet, which is something like Exodus, which is a free wallet where you get your own keys and you custody your own coins, right? If you're not going to do something like that, MetaMask works as well, then you shouldn't even be in crypto. Like, if you're just going to keep it on exchange, I mean, you're at so much risk, and so many things are just absolutely imploding here. So we'll see where it goes. CZ and Binance want to masquerade and run around there like they're the big hero with this $2 billion recovery fund. and Justin Sun announces his 27th announcement of an announcement. But there's a lot of eerie similarities between SBF and CZ and Binance and FTX. So we'll see where it all goes. I think the people waiting around for a hero may be unfortunately sorely disappointed. Hey, that's all I got today. Not always best news, but it is news. It's a situation. My name's Vosk. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.